Call to order the meeting of the Canandaigua zoning board. We'll start out the pledge of allegiance and then a moment of silence for our troops.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just our procedures, particularly with a couple of people here by Zoom, although maybe the one person here is Jason Outhouse, who is part of our board and will be attending by Zoom. So we'll open a public hearing. The applicant will present the request for the variance, reasons why they are necessary. The board then is able to question the applicant. After the board and applicant are comfortable with the information presented, the floor can be open to the audience in the meeting room and also on Zoom. Any questions should be directed to the board and not to the applicant. Each person should limit their comments to generally less than 5 minutes. And the applicant and board are comfortable that all necessary information has been presented. The public hearing will be closed. It can be carried over to the next meeting if further information is needed. The zoning board has 62 days after closing the public hearing to vote on the application. Although usually it's done the same night, and I suspect tonight, since we have a very short agenda, we will vote tonight. So, okay, the first variance request is on 4118 County Road 16. Dr. Schwartz, would you like to present your request?
Yeah. So we're requesting a variance. I guess we need a variance for a home generator. It's going to go in the middle of the backyard, away from our neighbors. The reason for the generator is because we lose power all the time. For some reason, our location loses power at least 10 times a year. It's going to be probably closer to 20 this year. It's like unbelievable. Power is most commonly lost during a storm. The other complicating factor for our particular house is we're at the bottom of a very big hill. So a lot of water comes down the hill during storms, which then causes flooding in the basement, and our sump pump is electric. We never had flooding in the early years of living there. We've been there maybe 30 plus years. In that time period, a lot of people built on the hillside. And there's a lot of runoff from these properties. Not only have they, of course, changed the environment there by taking away the trees, but also if one walks there, you can see they have pipes for their own wastewater that just basically dumps onto the property. So at being the bottom of the hill, we receive all that. And probably 15 years ago or so, maybe 20, we started having flooding problems. We eventually put in French drains, which has the electric pump. At the time we put the French drains in, the person who did that said, you really should have a backup because you might lose power. So we have this Venturi system where it runs water from the city water, which works, by the way. So if we haven't had a flood yet because Venturi has worked, but we've had recent storms, including once this year where it was like 10, 12 hours we were on the Venturi system. It didn't seem like a very good option to me because the flooding and the lack of power at the same time. My wife was distraught, so she said we should have a generator system, and that's why we're here. We also wasted quite a lot of city water out onto the street as far as this Venturi thing, which, as an environmentalist person, makes me feel terrible. So anyway, that's why I'm here.
Any questions?
I did see, were there letters from neighbors? I saw that there was a Carl
Yeah,
Was it?
I thought it would be worthwhile to get neighbor approval. Again, it's not adjacent to any property where the generator will be, and it's. So I don't think there'll be any noise issues, but they both said fine. There's one neighbor in the back, he's way in the back though. I didn't ask him to sign, I don't really know him that well, but tried to get to know him, it's hard to get to know him. He's way in the back, so I didn't ask him, I think he doesn't really know himself.
Okay, all right, I see now.
Yeah, there's a shed in the back, we don't have a garage, we're gonna put it next to the shed. The houses that are next to us are all like equally distant from the road as us, which you can see on the map there. One house is seasonal, the other one is lived in year round currently. And they all said below, that's okay. By the way, that shed in the back is elevated, it's on posts, it's not even attached to the ground. And this particular generator, I think there'll probably be like a little concrete pad or something, I think.
Yeah.
I suspect it's, I don't know if it's gonna be poured or not. Is it gonna be poured?
No, it's not poured.
Yeah, so it's just a slab, so it's gonna go.
And I'm assuming since it's not in your application, you're gonna be, rear and side setbacks are all gonna be,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
your rear and side setbacks are all gonna be to code.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
Easily.
Thank you.
What are the dimensions? It suggests that we put the dimensions of the accessory structure, which is the generator, in the findings. How tall is it? How,
It is 29 inches tall,
Okay,
4 feet long, left to right, and 25 inches front to back.
2 by 2 by 4?
Yeah.
4 by 2 by 2.
yeah. It's like,
Since it's a second accessory structure that the variance is requesting, it's able to put the dimensions of that accessory structure in the findings.
you got it.
Anybody in the audience here at home? Jason, any questions?
No questions here.
Are you comfortable closing the public hearing?
Closing a public
If you
hearing.
close the public hearing, we have 62 days to make a decision.
I see, I mean, I don't have anything else to say.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true,
Okay.
that's,
You have
Thank you
nothing
so-
else to present to us.
thank you
correct?
so much,
Okay,
yeah,
Thank you,
We'll make a decision.
thank you,
thanks.
yeah.
It is 2375 State Route 332. The variance is requested to place an additional tenant sign on the building facade of a
All right,
Good evening, sir.
multi-tenanted building. We only have one permitted in the form-based code.
Yes, sir. I'm Charles Yost. Thanks for having me. It was an honor to do the pledge with you all tonight. So my wife and I have opened up a ladies clothing boutique. I do have some imagery in the file, but I brought them in paper format if you guys would like them. Just to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing. So 2375 is a plaza, multi-use, all retail. Everybody has their exclusive space. And we have our own facade. So I started working with Mike and Code initially to make sure, because it's a double space. So it's a little over 38 feet wide of frontage, which gives me about 38 feet of square footage allowance for the sign. The sign at its maximum width is actually 15 inches tall letters and 12 inches tall letters in 2 rows. And its maximum width is 12 feet. So we're at about 28 feet total square footage for that. So we're well within the frontage allowance for an independent sign. The issue with the variance came, Mike talked to me about it in regards to, there was a code that was put in the town that said multi-use tenant like office buildings and things wanted a single marquee where the business would be listed. But historically at this location, because everyone had their own frontage, it's a retail place, we're a store, they have to know how to find us. So like all the other businesses in there, we did a building permit. There you go, is how we look right now. So you see the signs on either side of the other businesses. So our objective and our endeavor with you guys tonight is to pursue variance allowance for our sign to be there as well. I kind of gave the play-by-play that's in the other images of where the sign will be positioned. It's going to be centered between the two arches, centered in line with the other signs of the other businesses. It'll be on a raceway bar like the E-Lab one is. It's a 4-inch raceway bar. The total extension from the building will be approximately 5 inches, 4-inch raceway bar plus about 1 inch thick letters. So not as big and bulky as his. And it'll be illuminated like a halo effect. The letters will light up from the back. And I brought images of those as well for you to see if you like. So a little bit of a debate occurred at the initial planning meeting that we had about interpretation of the code. So initially it was interpreted that, you know, since we're an independent tenant in there and we actually exclusively occupy that frontage, that perhaps the code could have been initially interpreted to say, well, our laws in the town do allow for you to have your own sign if you have your own frontage or if you have your own facade. So it could have been interpreted in a way that since we're renting our own facade space, that it would have been allowed without variance, but it was decided the best approach would be to request that of you today. And that's the sign, that's what it'll look like. And then when at night, that's what it would look like lighting up against the building. And that's really it. Did I miss anything? Okay.
Okay, did we submit questions to the town? I mean, I know that we were discussing it for,
That whole issue's been discussed. I don't know where it stands.
I was trying to look, to see if any notes and I didn't see, like,
I think the town and the town ordinance committee are looking into it, but I think. Certainly no action has been taken, no action
I didn't see
contemplated
anything.
yet.
Okay,
No specific action is contemplated yet, but it's under consideration. I think it's gonna be something that isn't,
down the road.
isn't, you know, rapid
Okay.
decision making because it took 3 or 4 years to get form-based code in place. I think the rightly so wants to, you know,
Right.
give it its due consideration.
Okay,
Ms. Reynolds did indicate to us that there is going to be some pursuit of making
yeah,
certain considerations for exclusively retail locations like that.
exactly.
Anybody else on the board have any questions? Jason, you good?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm good.
have you guys done form-based code sign variance yet?
Yes, I believe we did one, right? Didn't we?
One of the other ones came up on this.
It was just down the street from this
Yeah.
one. Right?
Yeah, I forget which one it was.
Okay, I just didn't.
I believe it's right, yeah, right down the block.
One was the change of renal farms.
Yeah,
Right.
Another one too. What?
There was another motor vehicle one.
was it Friendswood or was it Western? Or whatever. It was
Yeah, the new.
West,
new-
right?
She had the change in owner on the car dealer.
Yeah. No, it's one of the newer ones that they got. Okay, sorry, we're having.
It's okay. It's okay.
Trying
I
to
learned from
recall some
everything I hear,
information.
so
Anything else anybody on the board?
Sure.
Are you comfortable with what you presented?
I am.
Close the public hearing.
yes, sir.
Close the public hearing and that's 62 days to make the decision, but we're never to do that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time, everyone.
What I would like to do. We're not making a decision on Parkside, correct?
Okay, okay.
I guess what I'd like to do, since we have 2 applications before us, that we go ahead and.
Yeah,
do those
agree
other
with that.
people can today and let them know.
That's fine, then.
Okay, so first one will be 411 County Road 16.
Would we be closing the hearing or, because we're just making comments on,
Yeah, you don't need a hearing. on that.
right? We should officially close it and then talk about the last one.
No, you close that both public hearings.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
Now you can vote on, deliberate and vote,
all right,
and then go into it's just a discussion
Right.
item.
but we didn't
for,
formally vote, so,
Park Save Drive.
okay, that's why I was asking.
okay, anybody want any more information regarding you know, again, the generator things come up. And I think they're working to get that out of being considered a structure.
Right,
I just have a question. If somebody needed to run one with an LP tank, is the LP tank an accessory structure? Basically, it's
No.
Part of the unit.
or up.
even if it's 50 feet away, and, you know,
I mean, that would literally be,
They.
I'm just curious. I know what the
No,
town
it's-
position.
You are right.
right,
Consider that part of the unit, if it's in a one on that, then that's.
and,
Even if it's further away.
and for this particular case, I mean, flooding basement potentially is also another hazard, I mean, that it might be,
That's
Like,
the part where I live.
safety.
I can testify that
yeah, you
we
live
get
right there.
frequent
Yeah,
power interruptions.
well, I'm just down the road, that whole block is
Yeah.
closed, the power leaves, right?
But again, I think backup generators are becoming more and more of a necessity. More than probably luxury.
And at the bottom of the hill.
Hopefully the code can change.
We're hoping that,
you know.
I don't-
Are you guys working on that? Oh,
Anything else?
We're good.
Crane, you call the question, please?
Shall the variance for a second accessory structure in the RLD be granted? Shannon Chevy,
Yes,
Jason Outhouse,
Yes.
David Emery,
Yes,
Kelly LaVoy,
Yes,
Chip Saylor.
Yes. Based on the information presented, public hearing tonight, and the, site plan. I think this is it's a minimal variance, a very small structure. It's in a location that will not impact neighbors, and we have letters of support from the neighbors. Won't change the character of the neighborhood. And will not have any adverse environmental effect, and actually may improve the
Right.
environment.
that was gonna be my tie on.
By decreasing the amount of water having to be used. Anything else in with? I guess conditions would be, would have to be installed in the year, according to the plans.
and then that it's 29 inches by 4 feet by
25.
25,
25.
yeah, I was gonna say it's just over 2 feet. Yeah, she's got it, she's got it.
And it's at the recommended distance from the structure.
And it doesn't require any, side setback variances and all that, so.
Okay, so that's all set.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
What's gas? Is it gas lights?
it's either gas.
Gas and electric.
yeah, yes.
Is it the propane or gas or diesel?
Yes,
Natural gas.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be,
it was in the description.
it's gonna be connected through pipes.
Yes,
to
yeah,
the-
underground from the house all the way out to where the shed location is.
No, these shovels.
Right, you did mention.
Just curiosity. No, I don't need a generator. Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, you're
Chip and I do.
Airport.
Yeah.
We've never had power calls more than 15 minutes at a time.
Not us.
Okay, next one.
There too.
2375
Right next to Howell Road.
State Route 332.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess
I'm sure Dave has an opinion on this one.
Do you? I have an opinion.
I don't see how we can knock it.
I know,
I-
that's my
I
opinion
totally
right there.
agree.
I was just gonna
I mean,
say, how can we
it
not?
I appreciate that he applied for the,
Yeah.
to cover the base and applied for the variance. I like
He
that
he had a lot of detail.
he did a good job in presenting this and making sure he's
And in
covered,
a way,
doing
if
it.
we didn't grant it, it would change the character of the neighborhood. You'd have an empty store, sign space.
I don't have any issues with it.
No,
mean,
I unfortunately agree with everybody on this one.
Let's remember this night.
Yeah, right? I know, let's capture the moment right now.
Okay, okay with voting on this?
Shall the requested area variance for an additional tenant sign on the building facade of a multi-tenant building in the Route 332 sub-area form-based code zoning district be granted? Shannon Chevy,
Yes.
Jason Outhouse,
yes,
David Emery,
Yes,
Kelly LaVoy,
Yes,
Chip Saylor.
Yes. Based on the information given in the public hearing and the diagrams provided. I think certainly does not change the neighborhood at all because all of the stores in that have their own. sign.
well, and that was gonna be my point, we'd literally be singling them out,
Right.
out of all those businesses that have signs, I feel like it's not necessarily fair treatment, right?
Agree. And the amount of signage is within the acceptable.
Very
So
normal.
no variance is
Yeah.
necessary for that. You don't have any adverse environmental effects. And you said it was in keeping with the character of the neighborhood.
And there is no sign out there that displays.
There is not a
No,
marquee
yeah.
to allow
No.
for.
There is no main sign that displays the businesses, so until that kind of takes place, right?
Anything else, anybody know? I guess that would need to be put up within a year, as presented on the information rooms.
Sounds good. Yep, I agree. All
All
right,
just go home now. wouldn't we?
right?
Okay, the next one.
Didn't the neighbors go in after the form-based code was approved too?
Sorry.
Did they? I don't know. Hmm. Did the neighbors go in and put the phone in this copies?
Oh,
The neighbors on that and then.
The
Before.
E-Lab?
I think that was before.
Maybe they are.
I don't ever remember.
It's been there for a while.
How's that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. They need signs. 'Cause I don't
Okay, the next is referred to us by the town board, which has requested any comments or recommendations as they look at this Parkside Drive development. And this is not really at the level of do we approve this variance or that
Right.
variance.
I looked at actually, I Googled it, like I said how, because I mean, I know places that put up like a garage or something prior to putting up the, you know, the main structure. And it kind of looked like there was a mixed bag of things from, and I think it varies from municipalities. Is that the one we were?
But no.
No.
We're talking about Parkside Drive.
Oh,
Mike, you wanna put the sketch?
The horseshoe. Yeah.
Plan on?
oh, I think we're talking about having our discussion. Oh, the horseshoe. Okay. never
Sketch
mind.
plan. Oh, no, not the overall, it's the other one.
Got it.
So this is a plan, Jeff Cook and Dave Christa have partnered up, and they own about 100 acres off to the north of Parkside Drive. They're proposing, and this is in the form-based code district, they're proposing a ton of housing. Several hundred single-family houses, townhouses, and apartments, and a little bit of mixed use, as you see laid out there. Well, they own the land on Parkside and to the east of Fire Hall. They're not going to need variances because they're going through incentive zoning. They have offered to provide certain amenities to the town. In exchange for which, pursuant to New York State law and town code, the town board will give them incentives of reducing side setbacks on the single family houses, reducing facade see-throughness on the apartments and the mixed use, reducing the amount of non-vinyl facade features for the houses, and there may be another area standard that they're getting. In exchange for all that, they're going to provide several $100,000 worth of amenities to the town, including park equipment at Blue Heron Park there. Public restrooms will be installed. All of the gravel trails at the park will be paved, asphalt paved. And then they're also going to provide,
Paved and maintained.
no, they'll be dedicated to the town, it'll be
Okay.
fine, just like any other public
Okay.
restroom the town owns. And then they'll also be providing sidewalks along Fire Hall. All the way to the end of their project. And then scroll down a little bit, please. All along Parkside Drive to Route 332 up to the end of their project.
Are these the wide sidewalks that promote the accessibility?
There'll be 5 feet wide sidewalks. Which I believe is pretty standard. 4 feet is pretty narrow,
Right.
5 is, I think, the wide sidewalks. So yeah, that's what they're,
Town maintains the sidewalks, snow plowing. et cetera.
yeah, they've become a town sidewalk. They'll be built in the right of way, I believe, although I'm not sure off the top of my head. The town board. The applicant met with the town board, met multiple times with town staff. And these are the incentives or the amenities that the town was most looking for. It'll provide a lot of connectivity in that area.
There's no HOA here like the St. James Parkway or any of that.
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I don't believe so. Well, I would bet no at this point. The apartments are going to be, which are the big buildings, obviously, they're gonna be property owner rents to tenants. The townhouses and the single family homes are going to be for sale, although I don't know off the top of my head of any reason why they would need an HOA. They're all gonna be public streets. The middle street is the main drive is contemplated to be a complete street. The sidewalks,
Okay.
crosswalks, this and that.
It's just the external lawns and
Yeah,
shift snow and.
yeah, exactly.
Where are they gonna put the several hundred backup generators?
Yeah, right.
I'm serious about that,
That's a
because
good
they might
point.
wanna
Right.
think about,
So that is sort of the plan, one of the reasons they're looking for incentives. So actually, can you go to the as of right plan? Usually developers are looking for incentive zoning to maximize their profits. And this is obviously gonna be a profitable project. But they could build that under the existing code. And that's is that 1,000 units, Mike?
273 units, a 4-story and 30 units. 1,092 units.
So that's 1,000 apartments.
Yep.
That makes a lot of money. They can build that today. What they're proposing is something they think is a little bit more geared to the market. And the houses,
Residential more so than apartment.
yeah, the houses are, and it's all gonna be market rate. There's no affordable housing proposed here, but they're, I guess you'd call them attainable. They're not $500,000 homes. I think they said in the 300,000, 350 range. For the single family.
The homes.
Yeah,
And
correct.
then there's apartments around that.
Yes, correct. And townhouses.
How many with the townhouses and the apartments, how many units is that, or how many new living spaces?
So 320 apartments. Oh,
I think it was total
Four.
630.
637,
630 total units?
okay.
Yeah, it's all about it. Yeah,
this look like the build out is till 2035,
if that, yeah,
if that.
I mean, that's a lot of houses to build and develop.
Right.
One of the nice things is all the amenities, the stuff that the developer's giving to the town goes in first.
What if they leave the proposed, no amendments?
No amendment, the town gets nothing, well,
The ones they're already approved for.
yeah. Well, they can, I said that wrong, sorry.
Okay.
They're not approved for it, they would still have to get planning board approval.
Okay,
And so they would have sidewalks, oh, you can see them.
well, I was talking
Along
about the
the-
other one. The other one is approved already.
No, this they're allowed to get approved, this is buildable by under the
This
form-based
fit-
code.
Oh.
this fits code
Okay,
with no
I
changes.
missed.
And they would have to build sidewalks along their frontage. So you'd get from the edge of from the northern edge of their property right up to Blue Heron Park on Fire Hall, you get a sidewalk from nowhere to nowhere. And then same on Parkside Drive. You get,
I'm assuming from a town perspective, the longer term, physical houses, the combination is probably more heaven or something they desire more, and because if you have units and condos, aren't they more transient or?
I don't think the town has
A position?
prioritized
Okay.
what
I
they
was just
want.
curious.
I know that the town needs housing, just like just about every town in upstate New York has a demand for more housing. Our comp plan calls for a variety
Right,
in the types of housing. So I think, I'm not speaking for the town board, I'm speaking in general for all towns, but we want a little bit of everything. We'd like some more apartments, we'd like some single family, we'd like some townhouses. We want all of them so that we can fulfill the need for a variety.
It seems like particularly like single family, which are
well, that's changed.
attainable for.
People that will live
Starting
there
out.
long.
It does seem like a really good idea to me.
Is this north of the watershed? For Canandaigua Lake?
No, I don't think, is it?
Somebody said the
No.
answer to that the other day. I think it might be.
Is it right?
I wouldn't swear to it, but I think so. Or it's gotta be close, because there's a sign.
No, so I mean, I think it is.
332 that says watershed. I think it's at,
Well, that's a lot of runoff.
Right,
So really what the process that we're just being asked to look at this and provide our thoughts or comments.
if you have any comments, I think the town board would be interested. But there's no requirement for comments.
is there
Is-
like
is
an
there-
environmental factor?
Is there sewer capacity?
Right, I mean, like,
So one of the things the applicant did was submit what they called an enhanced environmental assessment report. Sewer capacity is something that planning board reviews along with the seeker process. This seeker process will be done by the town board. And they submitted hundreds of pages of reports about things like sewer capacity and traffic.
Well, I know they got a 10-inch and that's what all this has got to go into, and it already goes down through the hole. It is gonna be really close, I'll tell you that,
Okay. Make a note of that.
because that all goes to the city, that would go to the,
are you saying you think it should be different or?
no, I mean, if they've got capacity, they're,
My assumption is there's capacity.
I
This
wouldn't,
is
I'm
where
not saying that they
the-
don't, Chris, I'm just saying, I mean, certainly the town, planning board is gonna visit that one.
Yeah,
And I hope I'm totally wrong, but we talked when Pam Helming was talking about that, they were talking about the need for sewer north of the city to try to, and there was a limit because you're only gonna go into a certain size pipe.
John,
So there's a plan that there's gonna need to be a larger water main, or that's for the water main up there. So I know that there's already, that's already known and gonna be planned for once it's actually needed. But as far as the sewer,
well, and that's part of the process. If there isn't, then they're gonna have to pay.
Right.
Oh, I'm not,
Developer.
Yeah,
has
it's
to
all-
pay cents.
it's all getting taken into account with the project, knowing it's a large amount of people that are gonna be put in that area, so.
No,
That's a good question.
and I could be wrong, but I'm sure it must go down to the city plan, it's not gonna, they're not gonna take it out to Farmington or
And feel like.
They
it does,
might.
But I don't really know. I don't know. But I don't think I don't know that we don't have that level of detail on it.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to, I'm just throwing it out.
No, I was thinking. Okay.
I've only got notes on the water main, not the sewers.
It seems like in general, that project would be more I guess, in concert with the form-based code than putting the other.
Well, it's not by definition, that's their point. They satisfy form-based code with the
Right.
alternative plan.
You know,
More so.
And so what they're saying
More
is,
so, right? Cause didn't they give up some of the side setbacks?
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, yeah, you're correct.
Well, it
no,
doesn't,
this doesn't conform, what he's showing right now does not conform to form-based code.
No.
The other picture does.
but I think, so the first one, go back. This one doesn't comply with the technical requirements of the form-based code, but I think Chip's point. I think the developer's point is that this offers more towards the intent.
So the
Of the
developer's point
form-based
is
code.
this is probably more desirable for the town.
Visual, it also is more in line with the comprehensive, town's comprehensive. And I believe that we're also, along the road there was,
North.
commercial, gonna be some commercial, right? The, below there.
Very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Oh, on the other side of Parkside, yeah.
Yeah.
More commercial is going in there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that was kind of what I was asking when I
So
said
those
about the
parts-
town position of which would be more.
So those parts of the somewhat commercial up to the roadway on that side is, you know, somewhat in line with form-based, but the project in general is more in line with the town's comprehensive, you know, the mixed use housing.
Right.
And the connectivity.
Yep.
Along or from. For these residents, for Candlewood residents. For,
Right.
it's across the street. The Paul residents. That offers a lot of connectivity to the park and then all the way down to Route 332 where there's existing sidewalks. So that. Takes a big bite out of form-based and comprehensive plan intention, sort of connecting everything.
So is there a list of all of the
There sure is.
things that they want relief from?
Yes. And you can go to it on the cloud.
Yeah.
Cloud permit.
Okay,
It's called an incentive and amenities report.
okay,
And
right,
it really lays out what they're looking for and what they're gonna offer. You can also go to last month's town board agenda where there's a proposed resolution along with 50 pages of attachments as to that resolution. The resolution wasn't passed, it wasn't ready to be voted on yet, but it'll be on this upcoming town board resolution that actually summarizes the incentives and amenities better, I think.
so from a zoning board perspective, the only comment I might want us to consider to make is. I think we're all on the page that what is being presented here is looks to be a desirable addition to the town, something we in general be in favor of. But as you look at some of the items that they want relief from, like the transparency, like, I don't know, not the setback so much,
Facade
but
material.
the facade materials. Those are items that the form-based code purposely put in place. And we, as a zoning board, have been struggling a little bit with the level of detail being dictated by the form-based code. So if we like a project to this scale to let it deviate from that form-based code, maybe that's something that ought to be considered when they're evaluating or reevaluating the form-based code. Did I say that in a comprehensive way?
You wanna make a motion? That we recommend, of a recommendation that we give to you.
No, I can. If we need one, but. Basically, we've been pointing out there's some areas to consider in the form-based code that maybe are an overreach. If we've got somebody to this scale that is looking for a huge deviation from a couple of those, maybe they really are just overreaches.
So maybe the motion would be that you move to prepare a memo to the town board that says the desirability of this proposal illustrates some potential shortcomings of the existing
Flexibility.
form-based code.
Yeah.
That the zoning board has been struggling with.
Yeah, that's good.
Brent, you get that?
I didn't get the list, it's the list, like, 8 words, I got desirability of this proposal, what was after that?
Illustrates
Okay,
The difficulties,
potential difficulties and potential shortcomings
Trying to implement.
of trying to implement the form-based code that the zoning board has been struggling.
Finds challenging. Not struggling, don't say struggling.
Those have been conversations that we've been having as well.
Yeah,
Understood.
I still think even if you look at this entire complex as, if it was one property, you'd be looking at the implication it has for the neighbors and to the neighbors to the north. If this is the way that water's going, this is a lot. And I don't know where it's gonna drain to. I don't know if it's in the Canandaigua Lake watershed, but I think I'm sure all of these are easily addressable, not easily, but are sure gonna be addressed, but that, it's a concern. If I was looking at zoning, from its perspective of how it affects neighbors. There's a pretty big agricultural area to the north of here that.
You're concerned that of runoff from this project
I don't, where's it going?
to. Well, they're not allowed to run off. I mean, it's gotta go into those stormwater basins that they got.
Well, they're running a big main, which maybe all of that brand new tower they're building on Brickyard. All that water's going someplace eventually, and
Yeah,
I'm not trying,
no, it's a good point.
I think, could we get a second to, Shannon, you make that as a motion? We get a second to that, and then we can also recommend that, or just express concern about the runoff from this. That doesn't have to be, I think, in the same motion, but could be.
I'm sorry,
I'm just raising the issue, that's the only.
I think it's reasonable, yeah. Is there a second for Shannon's motion?
I can second.
Okay,
There you go.
There you go.
more discussion on that motion? All in favor? Aye. David?
I'm just gonna stay.
Okay. Kelly?
Well, didn't I make the motion? I mean, I seconded the motion,
Seconded the
so.
motion, okay.
And
Jason?
this motion is just for the
Yeah.
memo to go and say,
Jason, you in favor of the memo going to the town board that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, do we want to just separately, I think, that's a significant concern.
Yeah.
We should have, and should we make another memo? Or just-
No,
I
that's
think
a really good point, but that's,
Well, they're gonna certainly consider, it. I mean, the planning board's gonna be all over that,
I mean, you can, I just don't think that's necessary comfort.
So it's been raised.
I just want to throw a wrench in the gears. That's all.
Well, and you're not far off because there's been a couple of projects they've done where there's been some water issues with on a slab, like the place over on Middle Cheshire. When they did that whole development over there, they've had trouble with water and standing water and everything else over on Middle Cheshire and 5 and 20 at the corner there, the development,
Oh, yeah,
those
yeah,
townhomes, they had a mess, there was a mess over there for a while, so.
yeah, that was,
And that's kind of built the same way. They're all kind of, their townhomes are all built the same way.
Yeah.
They're on a slab and the runoff was, I have clients over there and they did fix it eventually, but it took a long time,
yeah,
so. And but they're still building over there too, so.
I don't think it'll be an issue. John Casey's on this thing. He's not gonna.
yeah.
Yeah, John will be over there, so.
Well, it's a pool. Yeah, it's
Forget about
in
that.
the backyard.
We deny his variance application. He comes on the board.
You denied it like 3 times.
Yeah, we did too.
You
know,
know,
we
it's
get
like
more-
we do pool.
It's like, wait a minute, this ain't.
Anybody on target with, for a new member? Okay, that'd be good enough on that.
I think so.
Well, we go to the town board then. Now we have the other question from Crystal.
Yeah, you don't have to discuss that right now. They just want your opinions on it. You get your opinions, you can forward them to me and I will send them on.
Yeah, that was when I was looking at, I don't know if I have an opinion. I mean, it's kind of like one of those.
It's like when we refer something in
Yeah.
PRC to the other towns. They can look at it and say, okay, whatever, since this one's the zoning board, we want ours on.
It's like, no, there's no cut and dry answer on that one. There's boards that say it's okay, and then there's boards that don't, so I don't, that was what I came up
From the
with,
Town
so.
of Bristol. It's
Yeah.
A property that was. It's already been built, right,
Right.
and now it's out of code, and so.
Because the primary structure wasn't built, so,
See
right,
this?
it was, I glanced at it a
Just
little
an
bit.
email that came out at like.
Yeah, they did a
4
pole
o'clock.
barn, yeah.
Yeah, I got it as Sarah was leaving, so she said.
But he plans to build a property, it's just the cart before the horse, sort of. or whatever.
What are they looking for from Bristol?
Our feedback.
No, from Bristol, they're looking for a variance.
Yes, and they want feedback from ours on the board, this is board on the right on.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. Send it directly to Mike. That's not an official.
Yeah.
board.
That works.
That's not an official board.
Well, you got mine, well, I'll send it, send you mine.
Just email it.
I hadn't thought about John Casey on that thing with those.
Remember that?
No, but I mean, he is, I mean, he is a Krista.
That's it.
His background and knowledge
Yeah.
and stuff is just, whoa.
Minutes from the last meeting?
I don't know. Sorry,
Is there anyone?
add some of that. Jason, you're it. It's like,
Jason
He goes,
moves to
what?
approve.
I can move to.
Here, you watching TV, Jason?
I approve them.
I said his name and he went, what?
Wait,
I wasn't here, sorry.
Chip, why don't you move?
I will move that we accept the minutes from the last meeting.
I'm second.
All in favor?
Fine.
Trust your judgment.
Aye.
Okay. All right, let's see, and nothing else from the town. Any rehearing requests? Any, I don't know, upheaval from the previous,
Yeah, right?
No,
decisions?
no.
So far, so good.
Yes.
Yeah. There are a couple different ways you could have worded
Right.
that. Good.
Anybody else have anything?
No, I'm good.
A motion to adjourn,
I motion.
second,
Aye.
all in favor?
I.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.